Yo ho ho. Okay, guys, this is something I was really hoping I wouldn't have to even consider or think about, but let's be realistic. Most people saw this coming. So Nexon is discontinuing service for Hyperuniverse for the PC in PC form. Like the PC version is being discontinued. We'll get to the deadlines and all that here in just a second, but I want to read over what the actual official statement says. But I will say this for those of you on the Xbox, as of right now, that is being untouched. But that's part of something I'm going to talk about here in a second as well. Hello, Hypers. We're saddened to inform you that after a year of service, we'll be discontinuing Hyper Universe on the PC starting December 19th, 2018. This was not an easy decision to make. We've worked hard to make this game as great as it could possibly be and have poured our hearts into building out this unique cast of lovable characters. We're incredibly grateful to our fans for playing. None of this would have been possible without you. So that's like extremely endearing, and I appreciate that, Nexon. Thank you. While the game will still be available to play via Nexon Launcher and Steam until we officially close, we will not be making any more updates. Rank mode will continue, which is pointless right now. Will continue to run until service closes, although no rewards for rank mode will be distributed after November, obviously. Starting on November 15th, 2018, the cash shop will be unavailable. Hyperuniverse for the Xbox will remain unaffected. Below you can see the timeline for Hyperuniverse's closure as well as our refund policy. Thank you again to all Hyperuniverse players out there for all your support and for making Hyperuniverse such a blast to be a part of. The Hyperuniverse team. Now, before I touch the timeline, this is the second MOBA that I've been playing in which it closed down. The first one was Paragon. It was done by Epic Games, which has Fortnite, as you all well know, and they actually do the Unreal Engine. Now, this is becoming frustrating because it's becoming a pattern. It was frustrating when Paragon closed. It's frustrating now that the PC version of Hyperuniverse closes. You might be like, well, Monolith, why does that matter if the Xbox version is staying live and whatnot and all that good stuff? I don't have an Xbox One, my guy. So the reason why I've been doing my tutorials in the format I have been doing them in is because I specifically have the PC. Like, I have a PC to play the game, so I have the PC version. In addition to that, this was the only reason why I was even considering getting an Xbox One. Now I'm on the fence about it, and I'll explain that in a second, because it did say the Xbox version will be unaffected. Now, the timeline for the closure. November 15th, 2018, Cash Shop will be closed, and user refunds will be processed. December 19th, 2018, Hyperuniverse servers will be closed, and players will not be able to play Hyperuniverse any longer. January 19th, 2019, customer service support for Hyperuniverse will be discontinued. The refund policy. Items purchased between August 18th and October 19th will be refunded at full price. No refunds will be given to purchases made after this announcement. Refunds will be made in NX, same type of NX, credit or prepaid that was used to make the original purpose. For any questions, please contact customer support. Now, what that means is this. They're going to refund you any purchase that you made, but it's only going to be in in-game currency, not necessarily... account currency, I should say, is the more appropriate term because the game will be discontinued. NX is the currency that Nexon uses for all of its games across all of its platforms. So, you will be getting refunded any money that you spent before this announcement was made, which was made on the 19th, and I've been dreading making this video, for any purchases that you have made on Hyperuniverse. And it will be the money that you get refunded in NX will be usable via any other games that they have right now. So like Maple or Maple Story 2 just about. As far as this game is concerned, I adored this game. I loved it. I won't say I lived and breathed it because I didn't. At a certain point, the game wasn't breathing for me to breathe back at it. But there's a lot of things that go into this as to them making their decision. And I understand that as a team, as a corporation, they have to make certain decisions that best fit them. However, I will not sit here and just blindly defend Nexon. Nexon has a track record of just not doing well with their games. They do. However, there was a few things that kind of, unless they're Maple Story, like they do great with Maple Story. Let's be honest here, but we're gonna dig into that in just a second because I'm not about to trash talk the company either. There were a few things that made this kind of be known that this is gonna happen. One was the whole censorship issue, and the funny thing about that is, me personally, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about the censorship. I just didn't care. It didn't change my game, but a lot of people did. Now, the censorship itself isn't what caused the problem. It was the way that it was handled. Like, Hyperuniverse could have given people the option to change it themselves, like an appropriate way where they were like, you don't have to mess with the coding. You could toggle it on or off. That would have been fine. The models themselves weren't really touched all that much. It was pretty much just the artwork. Um, so there were a lot of people that had been complaining, oh, the hitboxes is that the hitboxes were not changed. Now, if I'm wrong about that, which I'm pretty sure I'm not, you can definitely correct me in the comments. I'm perfectly fine with being corrected. But either way, the hitboxes weren't changed. The jiggle physics weren't really adapted that much differently, and it was just primarily the artwork. So that being said, that wasn't necessarily the issue. The issue was how it was handled. It was kind of brushed off, if you will. Kind of like, oh, well, I see that y'all don't like this and y'all are the player base. Eh, that's fine. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. It'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, sure, it's not that big of a deal, but if your player base is telling you, to me, it is a big deal. I don't care if I have a cup of milk and I'm like, okay, this isn't that big of an issue. It's just a cup of milk. And then everybody I'm trying to sell the milk to, like just a cup of regular milk, is like, hey, I like milk, but I like my milk to be purple. So could you put some purple dye in it for me? I'm not gonna be like, yo, I hear you. You like purple milk, but yo, man, here's your milk. No, that's not what I'm gonna do, because people are gonna stop coming back to me, and they're gonna go back to people who give them purple milk, as the analogy would go. So basically, there are a ton of MOBAs out, right? You have to be unique, and you have to stand apart in order to make yourself a big name in MOBAs, because it's like a saturated market right now. It's super saturated, and there's so many that are out that a lot of people don't even know about because they were dead on release. They were DOA, dead on arrival. I ain't talking about the game. I'm talking about just being absolute, just dead. It's not because they're garbage. They just did nothing to stand apart. You know, and Hyper Universe actually had a really good idea. They stood apart from a lot of other MOBAs. The closest thing to it was, well, there was another MOBA that was close to it, but it stood apart with its character roster and the way it was actually played. So it had a really good chance. The first time I saw this game was at PAX South, a gaming convention, and it stood out, right? It had a whole section to it, to its own, so it stood out. People were hyped about it. They were going there. They were playing it. There was a line just to play the game, but because of the way they handled their customers and the way they handled their feedback, the game kind of folded in on itself. Now, with MapleStory 2 being around the corner and then actually released, I kind of already knew this was going to happen. Like, Maple is their freaking golden child, right? Nexon loves MapleStory, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what got them the most. That's what netted them the most in general, period, the end. Like, they tried experimented with MapleStory a lot. They changed it a lot. They added new things, and people stayed because they were still giving them that quote-unquote purple milk. So now, when MapleStory 2 was launched, I had pretty much decided in my head, okay, Hyper Universe, at least for the PC, is going to close. Because it seemed like it seemed like the course they were going to make, right? Like, it seemed like that's what they were going to do, you understand? Because now they have to focus so much on MapleStory 2 if they want it to meet the same like level as MapleStory 1, and who doesn't want a sequel to be better than the original? Most sequels suck. Let's be real, but you know, that's what movies and video games, not MMOs, not necessarily like online video games, but most sequels suck. I mean, some people probably don't even remember Asda Story or Asda 2, and that makes my point right there. Anyway, regardless of all that, the reason why I'm on the fence about getting an Xbox One now is because I don't know if they will continue the service for much longer on the Xbox system, and this game is the only reason I want the Xbox system. I have a PC, I have a gaming PC and a PS4, but the reason I wanted to get the Xbox was for this game, period, the end. And that's how much I like this game, right? That's how much I love this game. However, unfortunately, it is closing. So guys, if you're playing the PC version, get as much done as you can. Just have fun with it. Have a blast. If you haven't played this game yet and you only have a PC, just get on and just play it. Just see what it's like. I'm not saying fall in love with it, because you fall in love with it, you know it's leaving. Don't do that to yourself. That's torture. Now, I will continue to make guides until the game officially closes. I will, for those of you that are playing on the Xbox, just to give y'all something to look back on. So that's not going to stop until the game stops and I can't play it anymore. But it's been a wild ride, my friends. It's been a wild, fun, crazy ride. I might start doing stuff for MapleStory 2 too as well. I don't know. But I will definitely be still here doing things for different games. I just got to find a new focus. Anyway, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum and all that good stuff. And thank y'all for staying around for the fun. I hope to see y'all out there in other games, guys. Have a great day, morning, noon, or night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Get a good cup of coffee, tea, milk, water, whatever it is you're drinking to make your day a little bit better. And if you're of age, get some rum in your system. It's delicious. Not really, but I like it. I'll catch you guys on